Welcome to Dip into the Ink, the show where I, Noah Garcia, and sometimes a friend go through a comic book page by page, aka my excuse to just talk comic book with friends. Today we have a recurring guest on the show, Rodolfo Juarez Pinelo III. Rudy, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for inviting me for another time. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why I keep coming back, but
I,
it's good to be here.
you know, it's because you love me.
I don't know why you keep bugging me, like, oh, Rudy, you want to do a video recording with me? I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
This is really my excuse to just talk comics with people. A few times I've had people on, I'm like, oh, we just get into it. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. But I'm very excited because I popped your X-Men cherry. We're reading the Uncanny X-Men today. Very exciting. Rudy, just as a quick overview, what is your sort of history with the X-Men?
Yeah, only history. I've never read a comic book. Only type of media I ever saw was like movies, 20th Century Fox movies, right? X-Men 2, Wolverine, Origins, Days of Future Past, all that huge line since we were like pretty much little kids. And then, of course, lately, X-Men '97 that just came on Disney Plus, which 100% like I loved it. That was by
Yeah,
far one of the most favorite things I've ever seen.
it was a lot of fun. That was a really fun show. I wish it was longer, but it's just every TV show now. We talk about this. Every TV show nowadays is like 9, 10 episodes. I want to go back to 24. What happened to
Yeah,
that?
24,
Mm-hmm.
10 seasons long. A lot of the episodes don't make sense, but
Mm-hmm.
at least there's a Christmas episode involved or a Halloween
Yeah.
special. That's what we like. That's what people want.
Yes, that's what the people want. And
Arr.
are we gonna get that in this comic? I don't know, but yeah, let's just dive straight into it. Okay, we're here at the cover, the Uncanny X-Men from the Ashes, a new beginning. We have everyone's hands down, like they're all ready. And as someone who's never read anything X-Men, what's your thoughts on the cover?
I love the cover. I was a little confused on whose hands they were.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's Wolverine. I see Gambit, but I was like, is that Rogue? Is that
Mm-hmm.
Jubilee right there? But
Mm-hmm.
it reminds me of just like a movie poster, like just
Mm-hmm.
something big coming, like a blockbuster hit. And obviously, it was a blockbuster hit from the start. I love this comic.
Oh yeah, like it's very much the teaser poster they have at like San Diego Comic Con before they have the actual poster, where it's like they're
Yeah, it's like
coming,
coming soon.
mhm,
Yeah,
coming
something like that.
soon.
They're showing off their powers. We've got the classic
Mhm.
Wolverine claws. What did you think of it?
I thought it was okay. I guess because I'm an X Men veteran, I just expected more. But I get it if this is. We'll talk about this more, but this comic very much feels like if you watch 97 and you want to get into the comics, this is the comic for you. So I feel like this is very much like that teaser poster. Like you see everyone's abilities, like ooh, like Rogue's punching and Jubilee's light and Gambit's cards and Wolverine's claws and Nightcrawler's tail that was just jammed into the corner there, but it's there.
Yeah, it's kind of just cramped in there, but I like how you said it. Like,
Hmm.
this is the comic for you to read after watching '97 because '97 left me wanting more.
Hmm.
Like we just said, like only short episodes. So when you told me they're launching a comic, I didn't feel lost at all. I knew most of the
Hmm.
characters. If there was no X-Men '97, I would have been bugging you like, "Oh no, who's this? What's that? What does this mean? What does this power do?"
Hmm.
I still kind of am like that, but
Hmm.
that's why you're the comic book expert.
But you're not lost. You're like I don't. I'm still a little confused, but I know what's going on.
I understand it. Yeah.
But speaking of, we go to our first page, Westchester County, New York, formerly Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. We get this intimidating woman in white. If you don't know a lot of X Men characters, but the White Queen Emma Frost, kind of. I don't know if you've heard the name, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
she's
I
giving White Queen. She's giving like I'm walking in like a
okay.
bad bitch,
Definitely
and
she's up to no good. But I asked you earlier, like, who is she? And like, you don't even know either.
I don't.
So
I
this is
think
like a
it's
whole new
a
character.
yeah. I think it's a whole new villain. She comes in very flippant.
Daddy.
This baddie, this guy, Captain Ezra, is like, oh, like you better watch out. You better not go in. This place could have traps. And she's just like, I don't really care. And she's just walking in. Apparently, she's called Dr. Ellis. He calls her Dr. Ellis, so she's some sort of
Mm,
doctor. And there's this guy in crutches who's also following her. He seems very ominous. And
very, yeah.
I wonder if they bought the estate or something because this whole little company go up to the door and she like puts her hand on the panels and the captain's like, well, who knows what'll be inside? And she's like, yeah, we were invited, so we'll be fine. And we
That
kind of
has me
see,
left with a lot of questions. Yeah.
yeah.
So from what we know, this is a completely new reboot of like the whole X-Men series. So we don't know
Mhm,
exactly what's going on quite yet.
mhm. And it's like a new status quo, not like a new universe or anything. It's just a new status quo for the X-Men. Lots of characters go through rebirths, rejuvenations. This is kind of a new status quo for them, and they're kind of just walking through the mansion, this empty, dilapidated, not dilapidated, but this empty, dusty mansion. She's very flippant. She's very crude. You can see that the captain's like, "Oh, these are student quarters," and she's like, "Personal items, burn them. If you find anything cool, sell them. Otherwise, just destroy it." Like she has no f's to give.
I
And
want to know what
mhm.
happened. Like, where is? I
Yeah.
see. When I was reading this, I was like, what's happening? Where is everybody? Who like whose room is that?
Mhm.
It's and then I go, who's this old dude with the crutches? Right. So
Mhm.
it just left me all over the place.
Yeah, and it's a little confusing. It's like, what's going on? And also, X-Men, why did you leave all your shit at the mansion? Do you not have like a
Exactly.
do you need like a dollar storage rental to just put all your clothes and stuff? I'm not sure what's
Did they
happening.
leave in a hurry?
Uh,
Were they, or did they pack? Right.
but I'm sure it's like symbolic burning the past, that kind of thing. But this guy calls her Dr. Ellis and she says, you should get to calling me Warden. So apparently they're gonna build some sort of prison here. And then after everyone, they confirm it's safe. They go to the danger, not the danger. I'm sorry, Cerebro. Doesn't this we're to this next page? Doesn't Cerebro look a lot like the movies? Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
yeah. This
So
feels just exactly out of the movies, 100%.
I yeah, it reminds me of like childhood, like X-Men,
Mm-hmm.
seeing Professor X like run his rail chair, putting on that helmet thing, trying to find other beauties and stuff like
And going,
that. So that was a cool little nod.
yeah, that's a fun little knot. Again, like if you've never read X Men but you want to get into it, this is something familiar. And this woman, this warden has a conversation with the captain of the guard, and he's like, "Do you want to do this in public?" And she's yes. She's saying yes. It sends a message, and the warden goes, "Our first prisoner is here," and she's like, "That's great. Let's not keep him waiting." And she goes, "Hello, inmate. Welcome
Who
home. We'll be doing some remodeling." Once again, these hallways look exactly like out of X Men movies, 100%. And who is this? It's a big question.
So I want to know, man.
The X Men are. This isn't really a spoiler, but the X Men are currently on the outs with Charles Xavier. They don't f with him right now, so some people are theorizing this might be Charles. Because he has like a
Mm,
helmet on. You see, like his arm on his back, and he has this big helmet thing. Maybe like we don't know. It could be a million characters. It could be a new character. We don't know.
maybe.
But this intro sequence, these first couple of pages, what's your thoughts on them?
Again, it just left me like with a lot of questions. I can't wait to see
Mm-hmm.
like what the next issues will bring because I always love when a comic I love it and I hate a comic like kind of teases you like oh should like or like when they kind of go to the past or like they just keep things incredibly vague and
Mm-hmm.
it's so frustrating for me as a reader because like I want to know that the
I
information
want
there
the
and then
answers
just
now.
satisfy now I want the answers now exactly but comics just have they're notorious for just giving you like little bits and
Mm-hmm.
pieces, breadcrumbs here and there. But it's gonna be so satisfying when everything just all comes together. We
Mm-hmm.
find out who this lady is, what their plan is here, what they're gonna do at the prison, who this mysterious mutie is, right? So I love the start. It was definitely a good
Mm-hmm.
start. It's a lot of questions, and I definitely want to see where it goes.
Yes, and after that we go to the title page, the Uncanny X-Men, and we get our roster: Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Nightcrawler. Those are the ones so far. We have Jubilee on the cover, but she's not in this issue. Spoiler alert! But we have a small little info
Yeah,
dump. Small little
I do
info
have
dump that says, since our island nation of Krakoa mutants have been left to drift across the globe, including the former members of the X-Men. But can Professor Xavier's dream live on? We have writer Gail Simone with artist David Marquez, colorist Matthew Wilson, letterer V. Clayton Cowles. And I think that's an interesting premise to have because it says, but can Professor Xavier's dream live on? And I think you and I have had conversation about this. I don't think it should. I think his dream is over and outdated, but that's a whole other conversation. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I think a lot of people have kind of like jumped on board with Magneto's kind of vision, right? Of them having their own autonomy, they're having the right to live the life that they want to live, right? Instead of living in the shadow of humans, right? Of having to do what the humans say, right? I think that was Charles' kind of dream of coexistence, but I think that that vision of coexistence often was blended with like this sense of just falling in line. And I think so. We'll see if that's his dream of just falling in line and following the rules. I, I guess I could see why it's an unpopular dream.
And just saying this as a comic person, I think these characters in this book make the most sense because I feel like they would, contrary to Rogue in X-Men '97. I feel like Comic Rogue is a bit more understanding of Charles's perspective, in the sense where, also contrary to '97, Cyclops is a bit more. I don't think this shit works anymore. Like Cyclops during the 2000s had a big kind of growing into his own as a leader, his own philosophies, his own theology that he built up, and it's just not the same as Charles is. So I think Rogue in this book, as well as Wolverine, both being kind of like, yeah, let's see if we can make Charles's dream work. Is I think that was a good choice for this roster, and I don't think this dream. I think his dream fucking sucks. You're right. What he said. You're right. A lot of people are with
Yeah, but
Magneto's side.
it's gonna make a good comic class. I'm sure there's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be moments and like I didn't I yeah, like Cyclops was a student of Charles Xavier, and also
Mm-hmm.
like that's kind of crazy as well. Like Cyclops is the next generation of
Mm-hmm.
the X-Men. Maybe Charles Xavier's dream is outdated. Maybe it's time to
Mm-hmm.
embrace some new stuff. The student now becomes the teacher, right? And they're going to be leading their own thing. So one's kind of looking forward, and then we have like rogues. That's kind of vibe I get. Like
Mm-hmm.
Cyclops looking forward, trying to like just press on, while Rogue and her team is trying to hold on to the past.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe should be left there, and maybe they
Mm-hmm.
should do the same.
And
We'll
that's
see.
interesting. Yeah, that's interesting to see. And at the very end of the comic, there's a bit of a teaser of that, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, this is our roster for now. We opened to Mexico City 24 hours ago, and Logan. I guess everyone's speaking English. Usually in comics, they have like little like dashes if they're speaking Spanish. But
Oh, did
this,
they? Okay,
mm,
then like translating.
mm. but
I didn't know
mhm.
Wolverine could speak Spanish.
I don't know. You know what? He's lived for like what 200 years. He better learn some languages. Like it'd be really embarrassing if I lived that long
I
and I
mean,
only
he
spoke
only knows
English.
English the whole time. He never bothered
Uh-huh.
to download Duolingo.
Yeah, he never died. Like, fuck, come on. But he comes in. He's visiting an old friend, where this old friend is like, what comes after you go? And Wolverine's kind of just like, I'm a comic character. I die and come back all the time. I have no idea. And this interaction is very sad, but I want to make special attention to the art here. Wolverine's eyes at the bottom panel, there's like this close up of his face. It's just so like soulful, you know what I mean? It's so sad. It's like so empathetic. Like this art is just so good so far, you know?
I love it. I always feel like Wolverine, uh, from the very little that I've
Mm-hmm.
seen and watched, Wolverine's always kind of like a mysterious character. He doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
forthcoming with his feelings, right? So I love it here in this comic, and I've seen it throughout this issue. His eyes say it all. Well,
Mm-hmm.
everything that he's feeling, his eyes give it away of what he's
Mm-hmm.
thinking, what he's feeling, what he knows is going to happen. So that's where I love this artwork, and it really shows that.
Oh yeah, I love that. But this guy's pleading with him like, "Oh, what happens?" And Wolverine can't really give him an answer, but we cut back to those eyes again. And this art is so good because the eyes turn, because it does that thing in comics where like it's one thing and then the background shifts and the person's in the same position. But when he's talking to his old friend, he looks soulful. And now in this page on the upper panel where it's the same face, he looks reminiscent. Like there's very subtle details to the shading and the coloring and the position of his eyes. It's just so good. I just want to point that out.
Like I remember
Mm-hmm.
specifically looking at that little panel right there, like, damn man, that would make a good photograph. Like I should photograph with some of my friends like that. Just close up of the eyes,
Mhm.
just like that, and just let the eyes tell the story right there. So yeah, that's what I love about that too. Because the past page, like Wolverine doesn't say a lot, but again, like his
Mhm.
eyes are the ones having the conversation,
It's
telling
telling the
us
story,
the
yeah.
story.
But yeah, we cut back to Pyramid of the Sun. I'm about to show my whiteness right now. Pyramid of the Sun and Avenue of the Dead. Teotihuacan. Shit. I'm so
You
white.
got
I'm
it, man.
Mexican, guys.
You got
I
no.
swear to
That was
God,
pretty
I'm
spot on. That was pretty spot on.
Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan, yeah.
Teotihuacan. You know
You
what?
don't
The
have
thing
to do.
is, I tried too hard. Teotihuacan. You say you have you been to
Teo,
this?
Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan. There you go.
There you go.
You've been all over Mexico. Is this have you ever been by this place, Pyramid of the Sun?
I was there. I was there with my dad literally in last fall, and
Mhm.
it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Obviously, it's not that empty. I don't
Yeah.
know what time of day.
I was like, where are the
There'll be 100 people.
tourists?
Yeah, there will be lots
Mhm.
of people like go there, but yeah, it's gorgeous, especially right in. But
Uh,
they got that mood and that environment
mhm.
perfectly how it is. It's off the
Uh,
hazy, off in the distance, clear skies,
mm.
open white space, and beautiful constructions.
Yeah, and Logan's just sitting there on his bike, and in flies Rogue and Gambit. They're all suited up, uh, and there's a very cute thing as Rogue and Gambit. They're like, "Oh, hey, we haven't seen you in a minute." And they're hugging, and Rogue has a bit of an internal monologue. She's like, "No matter the situation, it's always feel better, safer when he's around. Maybe it don't make no sense. Don't make it less true." And then it's just very cute. Like she always feels safer when Logan is around, and that's just so adorable. Because
I thought that.
yeah, a lot of her thing is like a lot of Wolverine's thing is like I'm a dangerous guy, and she's just like,
Yeah,
oh, all right, I feel good. He's here. Like I'm safe. And you know what?
I,
If Wolverine was
I,
around, I'd also feel safe.
you know what? In a lot of ways, I think I would feel a little unsettled because, like, man, like after watching Logan, like,
Oh,
trouble always comes away whether he wants to or not. You know, so I'm like, I gotta watch myself with it.
you know what? That's not, I'd be the exact opposite. I'd go, Logan, what's wrong? Oh, you look so tense. Let's go to the hot tub. We'll
Oh,
give
you
you a
need some
back
beer.
massage. Yeah. Tell me about your problems. We'll down a couple bottles of whiskey. Like, let's hang out. Like, that's just me.
But I love the introduction of these characters because like
Mhm.
after watching X Men '97, that's in my mind that's how I was reading it, like in
Mhm.
the characters' voices, you know. Or I guess in Gavin's case, after watching Deadpool and Wolverine, you know, like
This
ooh,
is
or
so
seeing the
funny.
old army about it, you know, something.
All right. He says right now, we all been a little lost, mon ami. Let me hear you do that.
Where's he? Where are we? Oh
Way
yeah.
at the
Oh, okay.
bottom.
All right. I'm gonna do it. Oh, we all been a little long on hiding out, eating well, living better. I don't know. That's the
No,
best I
that's
could do,
good.
man.
No, it was good. A fun fact, everyone. Last night at D&D, they kept asking me to do it because I have like a Jersey accent for my character. It's a hard thing. People are making fun of Channing Tatum, but it's hard to imitate. It's like, we've been a little
I
lost,
think I
mon
was spot
ami.
on.
We've been hiding out. We eating better, loving better. See, I can't do
There
it.
it is.
But
There it is. No,
yeah,
that was pretty good.
thank you. But it went into Jersey instead of Louisiana Bayou. It's fine. But they show up and they hug and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" And they're like, "So what's going on?" And they're just like, "So dragon is it?" And this giant feathered serpent god is just sitting on top of the temple, and that's the reason for why there's no tourists here.
Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, when I first saw, it, I was like,
Quetzalcoatl,
"Oh,
yeah.
that's pretty cool." Is that? Yeah, yeah. But that's not really Quetzalcoatl. No, it's
Mhm.
like it's another like dragon villain, from what I
I have
understood.
I have no idea. This is another thing. This is another thing we're gonna just kind of take it with a grain of salt. We're just like, is that the actual dragon? Is that a bad guy? We don't really know. But he looks like a feathered serpent god of like Aztec legend or Mayan legend. I don't want to like group them all together, so I don't know which specific people's the feathered
I
serpent
like
god
the
is
nod
from.
that they did though. You know,
Hmm.
like yeah, there's like a giant feathered lizard serpent, right?
Hmm.
And well, of all places, you know. So I love that. And I love the like the artwork right here, and the freaking that's the pyramid of the sun right there, right? Like that pyramid is huge. You know, like it's like takes almost like
Hmm.
2 miles, like 20-40 minutes to walk around the whole
I
thing.
know.
So when I saw, I was like, oh, this is one big dragon
Yeah,
right here.
this thing, and you can see because there's it's a big splash page, y'all, and the X Men are tiny dots. They're tiny dots on the page.
Mm.
So it's just crazy how big this thing is. But we cut to the next page, and let me see. It doesn't. They don't really say if it's like actually a god or something, and they're just like, oh, it's a dragon. It gave the Avengers a tough time. And they're gonna just talk about it, and they're just like, wait, did an eye twitch? And Wolverine's just like, did I mention the big fella eats people? Yeah. And this thing's eye pops up, and this again incredibly detailed eye. I love the artwork in this.
I love it. Yeah, I love how they're like just talk. Like they're gonna
Mhm.
wake the monster up. Like they're
Yeah.
like literally right by its face. Like what do we do? Kind of thing. Trying to come up with a game plan, kind of thing. I love
Uh,
that.
they should have texted beforehand. Logan should have taken a picture with his Nokia,
Should
because
have,
he
yeah.
probably has a Nokia, his Blackberry, whatever, and he just sends it to Rogue, and he's just like, "What should
Yeah.
we do?"
The old the like
Mhm.
the when you don't even type words, right? You just like do letters
Yeah,
and numbers together. Like what?
yeah. The little emojis. You put a little dragon emoji and then a
Yeah, yeah.
question mark. But this thing wakes up and it goes, "You insignificant gnats dare to awaken Sadrong, the god snake. I'll make a paste of you and cook your heads for supper." But that is this page, and Rogue is like, we might have gotten a mite overconfident here. And we cut to this plan where it's like, for once, for a time, I wish I'd stopped to think first. And it's very funny because Rogue's like, does anyone have a plan? And Gambit straight up is just like, why you be asking us, Shea? You're the leader. And she's like, what? Who said I was the
Yeah.
leader? And it's very cute. He's like, because who else would each of us follow, sweetest of hearts? And I'm just like, oh. And her internal monologue is like,
He's a man.
you can't argue with that logic. And
He's good with his words.
mhm.
He's a smooth talker for sure.
This
But yeah, we
move,
all seen there's like these this battle scene. I'm like, there's only three of them against like one giant dragon. I'm like, Wolverine, he only does like what close range combat. Maybe I know. Surprisingly, I was surprised like how Rogue strong, like how strong she is, and like, she can fly. What are Rogue's powers exactly? She can't touch people, but she can fly, and she's like superhuman
okay,
strength, right? Am I missing anything?
the quick DL of Rogue is that before Rogue's powers is that she touches people and she takes your powers and knocks them out. Back during her first appearances, she was a bad guy for Carol Danvers, who at the time was going by Miss Marvel. Rogue touched her for too long, put her in a fucking coma, knocked her out, took all her
Oh
powers.
shit!
That's why she can like fly and punch
Oh,
stuff. Like she held on to her for too long. She put her in a coma, and the powers were like stuck with her. But also all of Carol's
oh,
memories, and it developed like a whole other personality that was in her head. She quit villainy and went to Professor X for help. There was a whole thing, but she has her powers of that flight and fighting for most of the 90s up into like I would say the early 2000s is when those finally go away and she doesn't have that anymore and she has to like touch people. But Rogue nowadays, she doesn't even need to be too close to people. She can just like touch them. She's in control. She can touch people now, currently in comics. So right now she can like tap
oh,
people
wow.
and take powers and stuff and she'll be fine. So that's kind of her right now. But so clearly she must have touched someone or gotten near someone and siphoned some energy from them. She doesn't even need to touch them. She can also just siphon energy. It's the whole thing. But she clearly
Oh
touched someone,
wow.
so she's flying around. So in '97 and in the '90s, she did have like Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel powers. So that was kind of
Oh,
her thing. That's a quick
that's good
download
to
of
know.
it. But
I was like 25 minutes explanation. Oh, like
yeah, we cut it
where are
down.
the
We cut
cut?
it down. But again, this comic is like, are you new to comics? Oh, this one's a thief. This one's a hunter, and this is the scared. It's kind of
Yeah.
doing like here are their personalities, but in sort of like a bad guy's way. And you see, he sort of has this like light thing from him, and we're just like, what is he doing? And he's doing this crazy thing where he's like looking at her and kind of almost like hypnotizing her in some way. It's crazy. He calls her pathetic, and he knocks her to the ground. Ooh, and Gambit's just like, what's he doing? Trying to mesmerize her? And he's just like, and Wolverine's like, and that's the bad news. There's two eyes of Agamotto. Doc Strange has one. Our dirty flying snake friend has the other. And the Eye of Agamotto,
I love the,
mhm,
the little Marvel nods. Like they
yeah,
mentioned the Avengers earlier. Now it's Doctor Strange.
mhm. And it's Avengers, it's the Avengers, Doctor Strange, but that little pendant thing where he hides, where remember he does this magic little pendant thing on his chest moves. That's the Eye of Agamotto. It's like a focus. It has magical stuff, but apparently there are multiple of them. I didn't know that myself, but apparently this dragon has one.
Well, I learned something new today.
And Rogue fucked up. She finds the dragon, she gets hit, and she breaks some of the staircase. Do you know how much money it's gonna cost to fix that, Rogue?
Lot, bro.
A
That's
lot.
messed up, bro.
That's really fucked up, bro.
Cool.
Like, you've been a
That's
superhero for
fun
decades. You should have known. Like, the Mexican government's gonna be mad. They're gonna be like, this is one of our national treasures, and this white girl from the south came over and broke it. Like, they're gonna be mad.
You're not even supposed to climb the stairs to begin
You're
with.
not.
No people are allowed. No.
They climb the stairs too. You know what? This is all their fault.
Yeah.
I'm blaming them.
Yeah.
They're three white people. They're three white people who went to the stairs and fucked her out and found out.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
But yeah, she gets knocked down. She breaks some steps, and this dragon keeps gonna. He's like, "Die, tavern wench, die and be consumed." And she's like, "Y'all were right about the lost bit, sugar, but frightened? You got the wrong tavern wench, puff stuff." What is puff stuff? She says puffin stuff.
I was about to ask you. You know what? Puffin stuff.
I need you to talk while I Google puffin stuff. What do you think of this page of the fighting so far?
Oh man, I love like the again like the artwork consistently, like the shading, the lighting of it all, the action scenes where like flying out doing like a little uppercut thing, or like when this snake dragon thingy majiggy does like a tail whip at her earlier. I love every part of the scene, and then there's Wolverine coming with his claws. I'll teach you something. And like I'm running out of words to say, but I'm gonna keep going, And then like I love how like
Mhm.
like
Yeah, no, keep going.
panels and
Keep
the way they're
vamping.
structured, they're
Okay.
formed, and like
Puffin stuff is
the
apparently
Wolverine
like.
stuff.
Can you hear me? Hello? Are you here?
I hear you.
Okay. Puffin
I can
stuff is
hear you.
apparently like an old. I want everyone to Google Puffin stuff right now, and it's like an
Oh,
old mascot kids show. I guess it's horrific. I need everyone. It's a 7 foot tall dragon
oh,
puppet from the show HR Puffin stuff. It's horrific. Everyone, please Google Puffin stuff right now.
that
It's
is
not.
scary. Why is that bad in the eye?
Yeah, I need everyone to Google that. I don't care for that, but that is an insult. That is an insult to compare this feathered
I-
serpent to the Puffin stuff. That is an insult. But
This,
you can really tell how much history. You don't need to say the history. You know the history, especially how they act. Because Rogue punches him down to the ground, and Wolverine goes, "Guess I'm up," and he snits his claw, and he like starts stabbing. Like they know the routine. Rogue knocks someone down. Wolverine comes in and starts stabbing.
he doesn't do much damage though. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
even now when I was seeing this, like, oh, this doesn't look sick as hell. But like, what's he doing? What can he do
Mm-hmm.
against a giant dragon?
I think it's interesting because I guess
But I
he's
like the
breaking. Mhm.
oh, you're right, how he kind of broke into, and
Uh-huh.
where's the eye?
Yeah, he broke
And
into
went
and kind of
back.
took the dragon skills off of the eye for Gambit to do something soon. But you see, he shoots him off. This dragon's just talking shit, and I love Rogue and Gambit so much. It's a very cute moment where she's just like, "You figure you're gonna maybe jump in here, sweetie?" And he's just like, "Hold him still, Cher. Best you can do. He ain't no getting burned none." And she's just like, "Hold him still, Cher. Easier said, lover." And this is very cute. I love them. But also, Gambit hasn't done shit, so she's right. I'd be annoyed too. I'm just like, you want to throw
Yeah, he
shit
hasn't
at
done
him?
anything this whole time. Just kind of like "Ugh," cool battle poses.
Yeah.
But you're right about the dragons. Just like
Mhm.
he's a shit talker, like mean too, man. Like I would feel insecure after listening
I
to him talk about
would.
me.
He
So
has
what?
he has a magical eye that'll bring out your insecurities. Like I couldn't deal with that.
Ooh.
But yeah, this thing's like, I'm gonna enslave you or eat you. And it's funny because see, again, they don't need to discuss a plan. They've worked together so many times. There's a fun panel of Cyclops in like the 2000s where he's just like, plan A or B. That implies that I only have 26. Because Cyclops is known for having like a million plans on a million plans. So they 100%, they're just like, Cyclops had them all in a room and he was like, all right, guys, giant monster, Rogue, Wolverine, go for the ice. They had a sit
Oh,
down. So they don't need to explain their plan. They're just like, you got this. And she's like, hell yeah, I got this. And they both like, ah, and stab him in the eye.
That
Hmm.
was pretty cool.
And then you see there's a bit of a spark, and Gambit's just like, steady on, steady on. And he's just letting them distract him, and he throws some cards. And he's throwing them out, and we're not entirely sure what he's doing.
Yeah.
But right
This is where I
after,
got lost, but there's that big reveal coming up. And there again, that's I think that's one thing of the biggest flaw about villains, man. They like to talk. And when they're talking, they're not listening. They're easily distracted. Look at him. He's talking about, oh, look at me, revelations. I am immortal. You know, like I am death. That's when Gambit goes in and does his move.
he throws the little cards to bring down the eye, and he's just like, the eye, sorry, shared off right off your proud belly. On your spark so much as I match, I blow it to pieces, yes. And it's just like this really fun little thing where he's holding the eye that the dragon was on his chest, because I don't think the dragon even realized Wolverine cut open the dragon's like scales, and then Gambit loosens it with his cards. And it's a very cool panel where like Gambit's holding his cards, he's like ready.
I love. I never seen this a Gambit before, and I like it because always in the movies he always does throwing cards, and he has cool. He looks cool in his little his trench coat and whatnot. But never actually seen him steal anything. So like that trope of him being a thief is like, dang, that's smooth. That takes big skill right there. And then we're gonna see him right now, like how good of a talker he is too. Like talking way out of a fight as well. Is like, wow. I love this Gambit. I wish we could see this more on TV shows.
Yeah, the thing about Gambit is that he's a big supporting player character where he's like always there fighting, doing stuff. But I feel like he never got, even with Channing Tatum, who, well, spoilers, shit, sorry guys, Channing Tatum, who's Gambit and Wolverine and Deadpool. Even then, he's another supporting. It's been 2 weeks. It's your own fault. But even then, he's a supporting character. Gambit has incredibly accuracy. He's a master thief. He's a smooth talker. Like there's so much to Gambit that we've barely ever gotten to explore. But yeah, he throws the cards and gets the Eye of Agamotto, and he's like, "I'm gonna blow this shit up if you don't calm the fuck down." And the dragon's just like, "I don't like any of you. I was trying to take a nap," and, which is true. He's right.
Yeah, he was napping. A little cat nap.
Yeah, and Gambit's just like, what if you just go to Antarctica? Just no one's gonna bother you there. Just go. And he's just like, shit, I'm gonna try to say it. That's the spirit. You don't need no one for say a year, and I give you back your faithful air. Is it done? And it's just like, it's done. And this dragon,
like actually, the dragon's like, actually, that's not a bad.
Yeah. Okay, imagine you're falling asleep. Me and my friends come up to you. You're fighting us. We steal your watch, and we say, "You leave us alone for a year. We'll give you back your watch." Do you say yes?
You know what? I would have said no. I'll be pretty pissed off. At least give me my watch back. We don't have to fight anymore. But that's how persuasive Gambit is. Or he would be like,
he's like,
I'm going to take this for you for a year, for an entire year. You'll have it back. That's a good deal, right there. He knows how to make a deal. Yeah.
You know what? This dragon was sleepy as hell. He was just like, I don't want to deal with this shit. I just woke up. Like they just fucked up my eyes. Yeah. But of course, as a villain, he has to talk some shit. He's just like, I seen something ruinous ending. Like 2 of you have cheated death already. Did you not believe she would present you with the bill someday? 1 year hence, thief. I come back for what you owe me. And is when he says she, does he mean Lady Death, like the symbolic, like death, or does he mean the woman we met earlier, she, the warden? Like, who was the she he's referring to? I'm probably thinking too much into it, but that was kind of my like, is he talking about the warden?
Oh no, that's a nice little layer to it. Yeah, could be both.
There's a very cute moment where he's just like, oh, she jumps on top of him and she's like giving a kiss. He's like, this is why when people ask Remy, my sexuality is 100% X-Men. Better turn away, Logan, or don't. Your call. And I'm just like, oh, they're going to give a little smoochy, a little cute. My sexuality is also 100% X-Men, so it fits.
X-Men? So like when you're playing a job or like, like a survey, like what's your sexuality?
Men, women,
X-Men. Oh, you put other. Right, X-Men? Yeah.
I write down. But Wolverine's like, little problem though, bitch. Well, it's expletive, but it was like this guy crashed my bike. Catch a hitch. Which yeah, no, we'll fly Logan out, but they start walking away. And there's an interesting thing where Rogue was saying it earlier when she was hugging him. And she's just like, when I tried to hug him, Logan pulled away. Brought back memories of when no one wanted to touch me. Had to be a coincidence, right? Which again builds on what you were saying earlier about Wolverine. And he's having like some emotional issues right now. You know, he's going through something.
He definitely is, you know. But again, like, he shows up for his buddies, so like, hey, counts for something, right? So hopefully he could open up and each other out. Process.
And Wolverine and Rogue and Gambit for a little, and they're just like, "La, la, la, la." And Wolverine's just like, I won't lie, I wouldn't mind seeing that, darling. Listen, I got this bottle, it's important to me. And there was something that Red Dragon said that, well, I was thinking the three of us was like, oh, he's like asking them to hang out. That's so cute. But then Rogan's just like, hold on, it's Scott. And it's like, damn it, Scott. Like Wolverine's trying to hang out with his friends. And we cut over, yeah. We see over in Alaska where Cyclops and his team is. He's just like, I had to ask Anna Marie, but I can't get away from the factory at the moment. And he requested you by name. Yeah, Kurt will be there just in case. And it's a very nice moment where they're just like, let's go do it. But then we cut over to the Pacific Northwest, Central Oregon, Bureau of Land Management Custodianship. And this girl's running. And she's like, leave me alone, go away. And like these two hunters are chasing her. And there's this almost disembodied voice that's going like, settle down, little girl. No need for comfort. No need at all. And like she's running and they like stab her.
Yeah, this is, oh.
And
she's a mutant.
She's a mutant. And it's interesting because they're going through for her, like she's fighting the best off she can. And there's a panel where like this thing is attacking her. It goes, come to mommy. But she says, just let me go. I'm not ex anything. I never chose sides. I didn't go to the island. I just want to live. And it's interesting because I wonder, we discussed before about Cyclops' team maybe being a bit like you and I personally, not on the show, but you and I have discussed about Cyclops being a bit more proactive about the threats in the world, and maybe Rogue will be kind of looking after the mutants that were left behind, because this girl, she said she didn't choose an island, she didn't choose bad guys, she just wanted to live her life on Earth, on America, not on another planet, not on another country. She just wanted to live as a person, and this person clearly does not respect that.
And then again, there's another reveal, like another villain, like this villain, we don't know their name, what's their motive. I get like Wendigo vibes right here, man. The long, like the arm scales and claws, and the forest as well, and this fawn, she just wants to live her life in the forest, and like eat berries and shit, you know. And
well, she's like a person, so she probably just wants like a burger, but like berries too.
Oh yeah,
she's like a girl. She's like a human, like she's a mutant girl.
Yeah, sure. An elk burger, you know. Yeah.
No, that'd be eating her own people. Wait, she's not a shit.
Ears, elk.
Okay. Let's say you're a mutant and you're part cow. Like you have like cow spots and like horns and stuff. Do you still eat burgers?
I got the udder. Do I got the udders?
If you want to, I'm like I wasn't gonna say yes, but if you okay.
I want to look like okay. You ever seen like Into the Barnyard?
Yeah.
You know what the cows they all gonna have the udder. I would be upset. I will 100%.
I'd also be upset.
They'll be my brothers and sisters right there.
Yeah, so she wouldn't eat an elk burger. But
elk here are cousins. They're not 100% related. You know,
oh my god! All right. Anyways, this girl's scared, and this thing goes, "Come to mommy," and like grabs her, and she's like, "No!" But we cut. Do you
have any idea who that villain?
No idea.
Do you have any idea who that villain is?
I haven't the faintest idea. The thing is, though, is because if this comic is for new people, then they're not going to bring like old villains. They're going to introduce new ones that we can all learn together. You know. But we hop a couple states over to the University of Mississippi Medical Centers, and all the mutants showed up, and Gambit's just like, "Are we the Make-A-Wish for mutants?" And Carly's just like, "I don't think it's that dire, Emmy. The boy's condition is mostly stable for now. He's definitely a mutant, low level precog and empathy. If Xavier is a 10, Harvey X is maybe a 1, maybe less. And it's very cute because Rogue's like, Harvey X? He's like, yeah, Liebchen. He's a fan, you see, and all he wants in the world is to be one of us, but he's ill, and it may be
Oh,
related, Verstechen. And I'm so fucking white because I can say German words right, but I can't say Spanish words right. I'm so
that
white.
sounds actually pretty fun. Yeah, I was actually
Yeah,
about to say, hey man, that's pretty fun.
I want to brag, but I took German in high school.
Oh my god, you're in German
It's
club.
not. It's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. But we meet this doctor where she says the tumors in his brain stem diffuse intristic pontine glioma, and he should be gone already. But we cut to the next page, where this kid, he's so cute. He's like, oh my god, you came, the X Men came, Rogue, Gambit, Nightcrawler, and Wolverine," and he has like posters on his wall, and he has a bunch of action figures, and it's adorable. It's so adorable. And
This is
mhm,
my favorite part of the issue. Reading
mhm.
like this scene right here. It's very cute. I love. He looks like little Caillou right there.
Yeah, very
And
Caillou
then
energy.
and then like yeah, right. And then we get hit by reality. We see where like Logan like is talking to the nurse. Like or like how come there's no monitors on it, right? Or, like she's like, oh, she's not in danger. But then this is the second time where he is in the same room with death.
Mm,
Earlier was with this that Mexico. Now he's with the kid, so he knows he knows death like very well. Level again, he
yeah,
doesn't say much. He's a man of few words, but it's all in
the
his eyes
eyes.
right there. It's all in,
Yes, the eyes. Mhm.
like it's something's gonna happen. Bad is
And there's
so
even a moment because he's smiling. He's like, "No monitors, doc," and he's like, "Oh, he's not in danger." And like the smile drops to like this very melancholic visage, and he's like, "Best call his parents back, doc." It's so sad. And Rogue is her inner monologue's continuing. She's like, "I'll admit it, I've been a little off kilter since the island, but this 12-year-old kid smile, that's a cool drink of something better, something pure." And you know what? He's right. She's like, "What do you say, sugar? Got a smile for me?" And the kid's just like, "Oh my god,
oh.
you're so hot." It's just like, that's valid. That's valid. That's what I would. If Anna
That's
Paquin came up
moments.
to me, if Anna Paquin came up to me in my hospital bed and I was dying, I'd be like, you know what, Anna Paquin, you are hot.
You're hot.
Yeah, you're hot. Like, and it's like that 12-year-old kid, like no filter, just say whatever.
I just can't get Caillou out of my
Mm.
head. But
He's Caillou.
that's all I see right now is Caillou.
Caillou is comic canon now. We've decided it. But we cut to the next page. We're very cutely. Oh, Nightcrawler brings him his own little like jacket, his own little X jacket, and he's just so excited. And this kid touches Rogue's hand, and it's interesting because Wolverine's like, "Press the button now," and the kid goes, "They're coming. You have to help them.
You already know.
One of them is the Endling," which is interesting because previously Nightcrawler said like, "Oh, this kid is like a super low level psychic precog, like level 1, like not a big deal." And the dragon earlier said like, "I see the future. I see the Endling." So these are two separate people telling him about whatever the Endling is. Which,
And
mhm.
I when I was reading this, I was like, what the heck? I was very confused. Actually, now that you're telling me, it's like, okay, it
Okay,
makes more sense. I
it
was
makes
like,
more
man, like,
sense.
what's going on?
Hmm.
For a second, I thought because Rogue, because he touched Rogue,
Hmm.
again, like something happened with him. So I thought those kind
Hmm.
of like Rogues, but from what you're telling me now, like, no, it's just him having just it's his powers just kicking
Hmm.
in the last few moments of his life. Is that right?
Because Wolverine has been like over the couple few pages, he's been like, call his parents now, call the button. It's not going good.
Yeah.
And this
Poor
kid,
guy,
yeah.
man.
And see,
So,
this is once again like they keep mentioning this island that's over. So if you don't know the X-Men comics, you kind of have like an idea of what they're talking about. But if you really read X-Men comics, and you know how like sad it is, because Rogue goes, and just like so much, just like everything since Krakoa, something nice shows its rot. Like she just can't have a win. Like they go visit this kid, and he just seizes up right in front of them. And there's a very sad
Yeah.
little moment right here where they're all in the hospital waiting room, and uh,
Quiet.
yeah, and she says, "I had a friend once, a nurse in a ward like this. She said there's no quiet on earth like the silence after a child dies. You don't hear the tears, the beeping, the hustle, not even the wailing of grieving parents. You just hear a black emptiness as big as the world." And she like collapses. She falls to the ground, and just like kind of she takes a second. They greet the parents. But what's your thoughts on this like whole page and kind of her interior monologue here?
Yeah, it's an emotional moment and a very amazing writing, great artwork. Man, everyone's for like going being in a hospital, they all look good, man. Like I was looking at Nightcrawler's like jacket, his
Hmm.
turtleneck little combo. Logan's like, his jacket as well. So like again, I love the art, but like the writing, like what they said earlier,
Hmm.
like there's nothing silent more silent than like the passing of a child. It's like what? Like that cuts deep. So
Hmm.
that's why this is my favorite part of the issue. Just like them visiting
Hmm.
the child, right? At least like making him smile, even if it's for a little bit, but then just how quickly like things could change, especially in a hospital. You
Hmm.
know, like a status isn't a health status isn't forever, right? And and then we find out that he passes. It's like dang, and it looked like he kind of suffered for a little bit, and I think that's what makes it worse. Because
Hmm.
none of them wanted to see him suffer, right? Would have been nice. I don't know, like pass in his sleep, right? But I guess that's kind of like when reality kicks in, like she just said, right? Like just a little bit ago, like oh, like this is like a what was it, like a drink of like something pure, but
Yeah,
that
it
was just
shows it's
one thing.
rot.
Now, yeah, exactly. It's like, damn, can't get no peace.
You can't. And it's interesting because once again, that sort of divide between Rogue and Cyclops' team, where he's out in the world doing stuff, and maybe this team will have more personal moments. They'll have more like one on one, like visiting kids, helping individual mutants, that kind of stuff. Well, like he's bigger picture, and she's more maybe focusing on the individuals more closely. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this might lead to that.
Building community for
Hmm.
sure. I would believe, man. Like the parents are gonna remember this. Yeah. So that's just as important too. Maybe that's kind of forgotten a lot. So I'm glad like at least they're sticking to the basics. Trying to show the world like, hey, we're building.
There's a line I don't remember exactly, but in the original X-Men '90s cartoon, when Professor X is like quote dying, he gives like a goodbye speech to everyone, and I think his thing to Rogue is something like, "Rogue, the girl who could never touch us yet had managed to touch all of our hearts," and that's kind of Rogue's thing.
Wow.
He says something like that. I forget what it was, but we cut over. We are now in Louisiana. We are jumping states. We're hopping everywhere.
They're all
But
over the place,
yeah,
man.
they're all over the place. They're making like travel look easy, but
I wish it was that.
I wish it was that easy. But Kurt goes like, he's gonna stay with with the guy's parents, see if he can help with like funeral rites because he is a priest, and
Yeah.
the trio's just gonna head out. And they go to Louisiana and they head to the bayou. He apparently has a friend out there, and they bring him. It's like a little safe house. And even Rogue's just like, "Oh, you never told me about this, Remy." And let me see. This is once again they have a lot of conversation. They talk about,
Yeah.
and Rogue kind of goes like, I keep thinking we almost had everything, everything. We almost had Xavier's dream. Now it's just an emptiness. Do we even try to carry on? Who would lead us when none of us are exactly strategists? Gamma's just like I said in Mexico, share. Who else would we follow? And again, there's always conflict between Wolverine and Cyclops because Rogue is like, we can head up north. Cyclops is building some up there, though, I think. And Wolverine's just like, yeah, no. Imagine a community run by Scott Summers. He's everywhere. You look, take every step you take. I ain't going back there. Whatever it ain't the X-Men. You mean Anna Marie? He's just like, I don't fuck. I'm not going up there. I don't fuck with that.
And I like these moments of like
Mm-hmm.
whether it's after an action scene or even after like the hospital, right? Like there's these moments where like the comic breathes a little bit. Like even after the battle with the dragon, like they're talking, right? Like they're like cracking jokes or flirting, kissing, and then here again, like they're all like together again. Like what do we do now? So I like how they kind of balance it out with like action, something heavy, and then they kind of let the issue breathe for, you know. So this is a tender moment as well
Mhm.
too.
Like the something happens and then they talk about it. You know, another thing happens and they
Yeah,
kind of react to it. And it's just I think it's really good pacing for a book like this that is more about intimate moments, but they're kind of hanging around this campfire, they're drinking beers, and she calls Kate, you know, Shadow Cat, the one who walks through walls. If you didn't
yeah. See,
yeah,
okay, okay.
okay.
The one, the okay, the
Yeah.
got it.
Shadow Cat, the one who goes through stuff. And she's
But
Rogue. Mhm.
when they said Kate, I was like, "Who's Kate?" And
Yeah.
then she says Kitty later, like in the
Mhm.
next panel. I was like, "Oh, Kitty." Okay, okay.
Yeah, no, that's what he meant. There's a whole thing where like Katie was like, "I'm Kate now. I'm a woman." Like it
Oh,
was, it was,
I'm
it
Kitty.
had mixed results. I'm okay with it. I don't really care, but she's known as Kitty in the popular culture. So again, like focusing on the smaller moments, Rogue is like, "What do we do?" And Gambit's is like, "Maybe we aren't responsible for every weight ever loaded on the world. Maybe we live for a time without fighting." And you know, Wolverine's just like, hate to say it, but the Cajuns got a point, darling. We ain't the ones to fill Chuck's chair. Why do you even want to? And you know, Rogue kind of responds. She's like, "Don't you know? Because of the kid, because of Harvey." And
Who's
uh,
Harvey?
that was a little boy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
remember
Okay, I was like, what?
they called him
Yeah,
Harvey X or something. That was his name.
Harvey X. That's
Yeah,
right.
Harvey
Okay,
X.
okay.
But yeah, no, the little boy. And
That
it's
shows how much I'm
mhm.
paying attention
Yeah.
to the comics.
You know what? That's why we go over it so we you know what, you've said things on like our Transformers episodes that I didn't even
That's true.
notice.
That's true.
So we
I'm
just
just saying, if it was
we
said
go
this
through it.
said Caillou, they said
Hmm.
Caillou, and we're
I
like,
said,
oh,
yeah, you got stuck on Caillou. That's why. But again, I love that the artist kind of gives Rogue a little bit of like smudged eyeliner through crying. And normally, I don't, me personally, as I understand Rogue, I don't think she'd be this emotional normally, but I think because, you know, they had an island that they lost and she just saw like the death of a child and she kind of got her brain messed with earlier by a dragon. I can kind of see it.
she's been having a rough day.
They've all been having a rough day, but we cut to the next page where Rogue kind of talks about like, look at us. We have been made for. We have to be made like this for a reason. Before the school, I had nothing. There has to be a purpose. I can't go back to this. Like she, and I think that's interesting because I feel like Rogue is someone that's always fighting for something. From what I can tell, you know, for Charles's dream, for sometimes Magneto, for sometimes for something else, and she's fighting for these ideals. And the question is when these ideals fail you over and over again, what do you do? What do you turn to? And that's again the conversation where if Professor X's ideals fail over and over again, if the dream is dead, if the dream doesn't work, where do you go next? And I think that's sort of the fight Rogue might be having, you know?
It sounds like she's kind of doing what other people tell her to do. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
this is also her first time where she's like, there's no one, there's no leader. I'm the leader now.
Mm-hmm.
This is her one chance for her to do what she sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
You just said Charles Xavier did from Magneto or so on and so forth, right? So now's her chance to do things her way, and that could be maybe scary for the first time after for a
Mm-hmm.
long time, doing what other people tell you to do.
Mm-hmm. And that can be tough because she's never been totally in charge. You know, there's always someone, at least from what I can tell, there's always someone she has to report to. She reports to Cyclops. She reports to Professor X. She reports to this person. So I think this would be an interesting time for her to take the reins of what she wants to really do, like you said. But we cut to the next page where somebody goes, "Help, help us!" And it's a page full of what we find out to be is mutant children. There's a girl with a horse and a girl that's vibrating and a guy in torn jackets and another guy in like a long robe. And they say, "Help! She's coming for us! Help!" And next, and that's the end of the comic. It says next endling.
It's the Wendigo. Like
That's the Wendigo.
you don't. We don't. Again, you don't know any people.
Mm.
You don't know any of those people, right?
No, they're all new
Ah,
characters. They're all new.
ah.
No, I'm sorry. I know you want to just know more information, but this is all new stuff. to get you into the comic. They're like, who are these new characters? Read on to find out.
Oh, they sure got me. They got me hooked. That's for sure.
I didn't realize how dark my screen was. But yeah, we get a preview page next where it says, it's always the same with you, isn't it? Watching your most trusting, your most loyal die alone, while replacements sprout up in the ashy soil of their predecessors' graves. I know who the pillars of your house are, Charles, your house of X, and I'm going to remove them just to see it to collapse all around you. Goodbye, Charles. I love you. Which is a very interesting thing. The pillars. I know who the pillars of your house are, Charles. And you have Cyclops and Rogue standing back to back, looking a little menacing, maybe at odds, perhaps. We definitely see some of these kids fighting a member of Cyclops' team, and it's just this is sort of like a teaser, and that's why I think Cyclops and Rogue may be at odds soon. We're not entirely sure, but yeah, that's the little preview at the end of the issue, and that's the end of the comic. Oh, Rudy, you finished your first ever X-Men comic. Look at you.
First ever
First ever X-Men
I
comic.
loved it. It was a great read. One of the big things like I want to keep seeing is Rogue as a leader. It seems like she's new at this, new at being a leader. So I want to see how she grows, how she makes her mistakes, how she learns from that, and whatnot. Because it seems like I always love that character trope of like there's someone that's a new leader and they kind of try to. And there's that incredible amount of pressure, insecurities of think they're worthy or not, and then being in charge of other people and telling them what to do when they're not used to that. So I always like those kind of stories, and then growing into the person that they're meant to be, right? So I can't wait to see more of the arc of Rogue.
Yeah, just again as a comic reader, she's led like squads before, like she's been in charge of teams, but she's always had someone to report to. So this time she has no one to report to. It's just her spearheading everything, and I like you. I'm intrigued to see where this whole thing goes with all these new characters. But we did it. This is my first episode of this show in a long time. We had a lot of technical difficulties. I blame everything on OBS Studios. I did nothing wrong. But Rudy, how many lost children? How many lost mutant? I'm trying to think of something. How many lost mutant children in the woods are you gonna give this out of 10?
I'm gonna give it 11. 11
Oh,
lost
that's
children
a
in the
lot
woods.
of children. That's a lot of
I
missing
love it.
children.
I love it. I love how vague it is. I love how it breathes. I love the action scene. I love how it kind of teases you a little bit once you read issue number 2. I love the artwork. It's a solid read. Great start to something I want to believe that's going to be a great story.
Yeah, I feel like the children thing is bad. I'm gonna say
I love it.
how many? I give this 9 out of 10. Wolverine claws. A lot of claws.
Out of 6 claws, how many would you give them?
6. I'd give this 6 out of 6. Very excited to see where it goes.
Right there.
It left me. It had a lot of fun action. You got reintroduced to the characters. A lot of new characters. So I'm just like, who are you and what do you want? But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Rudy, before we end, any passing words, also any messages to the people that are still watching for some reason?
Well, first of all, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for any future projects that my buddy right here, Noah, has in store. Follow me on Rudy's All Right, and then check out profiles, and you'll find out that we wrote a book.
We did.
You know, you and I did a poetry photo book. So if you love reading, if you love admiration of photography, check our book out. Appreciate the support. Maybe you'll find it in a local library soon too. We'll keep in touch.
We're working on that. But yeah, you can find all my socials down below. Noah is Garcia across the board. Noah Garcia _ photography on Instagram, and Resignation, the art poetry book, is now available on Amazon. So go check that out. The lighting here is bad, so I'm gonna say goodbye. Goodbye.
Peace.